Nicolas Kim Coppola, born January 7, 1964, known professionally as Nicolas Cage, is an American actor and producer. He has performed in leading roles in a variety of films, ranging from romantic comedies and dramas to science fiction and action films. In the early years of his career, Cage starred in films such as Valley Girl, 1983, Racing with the Moon, 1984, Birdie, 1984, Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986, Raising Arizona, 1987, Moonstruck, 1987, Vampire's Kiss, 1989, Wild at Heart, 1990, Honeymoon in Vegas, 1992, and Red Rock West, 1993. Cage received an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild Award for his performance as an alcoholic Hollywood writer in Leaving Las Vegas, 1995, before coming to the attention of wider audiences with mainstream films, such as The Rock, 1996, Face Off, 1997, Con Air, 1997, City of Angels, 1998, and National Treasure, 2004. He earned his second Academy Award nomination for his performance as Charlie and Donald Kaufman in Adaptation, 2002. In 2002, he directed the film Sunny, for which he was nominated for Grand Special Prize at Deauville Film Festival. Cage owns the production company Saturn Films and has produced films such as Shadow of the Vampire, 2000, and The Life of David Gale, 2003. Through his performances in The Weatherman, 2005, Lord of War, 2005, The Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, 2009, and Kick-Ass, 2010, he earned critical acclaim. Films such as Ghost Rider, 2007, and Knowing, 2009, were box office successes. Cage has been strongly criticized in recent years for his choice of roles, some of which have been universally panned. However, he recently starred in The Croods and Joe, both of which were warmly received by critics. Early life and family. Cage was born in Long Beach, California, to August Coppola, a professor of literature, and Joy Vogelsing, a dancer and choreographer. He was raised in a Catholic family. His paternal grandparents were composer Carmen Coppola and actress Italia Pennino, and his paternal great-grandparents were immigrants from Bernalda, Basilicata. Through his father, he is a nephew of director Francis Ford Coppola and of actress Talia Shire, and the cousin of directors Roman Coppola and Sofia Coppola, film producer Giancarlo Coppola, and actors Robert Carmen and Jason Schwartzman. Cage's two brothers are New York radio personality Mark the Cope Coppola and director Christopher Coppola. He attended Beverly Hills High School, which is known for its many alumni who became entertainers. He aspired to act from an early age and also attended UCLA School of Theater, Film and Television. His first non-cinematic acting experience was in a school production of Golden Boy. He cites James Dean as the key inspiration for his career, saying, "I started acting because I wanted to be James Dean. I saw him in Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden. Nothing affected me, no rock song, no classical music, the way Dean affected me in Eden. It blew my mind. I was like, that's what I want to do." Career. To avoid the appearance of nepotism as the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, he changed his name early in his career to Nicolas Cage, inspired in part by the Marvel Comics superhero Luke Cage. Acting. Since his film debut with a minor role in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982, opposite Sean Penn, Cage has appeared in a wide range of films, both mainstream and offbeat. He auditioned for the role of Dallas Winston in his uncle's film The Outsiders, based on S.E. Hinton's novel, but lost to Matt Dillon. He was also in Coppola's films Rumble Fish and Peggy Sue Got Married. Other Cage roles included appearances in the acclaimed 1987 romantic comedy film Moonstruck, also starring Cher, the Coen brothers' cult classic comedy Raising Arizona, David Lynch's 1990 film Wild at Heart, a lead role in Martin Scorsese's 1999 New York City paramedic drama Bringing Out the Dead, and Ridley Scott's 2003 drama film Matchstick Men, in which he played an agoraphobic, misophobic, obsessive-compulsive con artist with a tic disorder. Cage has been nominated twice for an Academy Award, winning once for his performance as a suicidal alcoholic in Leaving Las Vegas. His other nomination was for his portrayal of real-life screenwriter Charlie Kaufman and Kaufman's fictional twin Donald in Adaptation. Despite these successes, most of his lower-profile films have performed poorly at the box office compared to his mainstream action, adventure roles. The suspense thriller 8mm, 1999, is considered a cult film. He took the lead role in the 2001 film Captain Corelli's Mandolin and learned to play the mandolin from scratch for the part. He made his directorial debut with 2002's Sunny. In 2005, two films he headlined, Lord of War and The Weatherman, failed to find a significant audience despite nationwide releases and good reviews for his performances. Poor reviews for The Wicker Man resulted in low box office U.S. sales. The much-criticized Ghost Rider, 2007, based on the Marvel Comics character, fared better, earning more than $45 million, the top earner, during its opening weekend and over $208 million worldwide through the weekend ending on March 25, 2007. Also in 2007, he starred in Next, which shared the concept of a glimpse into an alternate timeline with Cage's film, The Family Man, 2000. Most of Cage's movies that have achieved financial success were in the action-adventure genre. In his second highest-grossing film to date, National Treasure, he plays an eccentric historian who goes on a dangerous adventure to find treasure hidden by the founding fathers of the United States. Other action hits include The Rock, in which Cage plays a young FBI chemical weapons expert who infiltrates Alcatraz Island in the hope of neutralizing a terrorist threat, Face Off, a John Woo film where he plays both a hero and a villain, and World Trade Center, director Oliver Stone's film regarding the September 11, 2001 attacks. He had a small but notable role as the Chinese criminal mastermind Drive, Fu Manchu in Rob Zombie's fake trailer Werewolf Women of the SS from the B-movie double feature Grindhouse. In November 2007, Cage was spotted backstage at a Ring of Honor wrestling show in New York City researching for the lead role for the wrestler. However, Cage dropped out of production shortly afterwards because he felt that he did not have enough time to prepare for the role and director Darren Aronofsky preferred Mickey Rourke for the lead part. Rourke would go on to receive an Academy Award nomination for his performance. In an interview with SlashFilm.com, Aronofsky said of Cage's decision to leave the film that, "Nick was a complete gentleman, and he understood that my heart was with Mickey and he stepped aside. I have so much respect for Nick Cage as an actor and I think it really could have worked with Nick, but, you know, Nick was incredibly supportive of Mickey and he is old friends with Mickey and really wanted to help with this opportunity, so he pulled himself out of the race." In 2008, Cage appeared as Joe, a contract killer who undergoes a change of heart while on a workouting in Bangkok, in the film Bangkok Dangerous. The film is shot by the Pang brothers and has a distinct Southeast Asian flavor. In 2009, Cage starred in the science fiction thriller Knowing, directed by Alex Proyas. In the film, he plays an MIT professor who examines the contents of a time capsule unearthed at his son's elementary school. Startling predictions found inside the capsule that have already come true lead him to believe that the world is going to end at the close of the week, and that he and his son are somehow involved in the destruction. The film received mainly negative reviews but was the box office winner on its opening weekend. Also in 2009, Cage starred in the film The Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, directed by acclaimed German director Werner Herzog. He portrayed a corrupt police officer with gambling, drug and alcohol addictions. The film was very well received by critics, holding a rating of 87 positive reviews on review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes. Cage received lauds for his performance, with Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune writing Herzog has found his ideal interpreter, a performer whose truth lies deep in the artifice of performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas Cage, at his finest. This film reunited Cage with Eva Mendes, who played his love interest in Ghost Rider. In 2010, Cage starred in the period PS season of The Witch, playing a 14th-century knight transporting a girl accused of causing the Black Plague to a monastery, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice, in which he played the sorcerer. In 2012, Cage reprised his role in Ghost Rider's sequel Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. He voiced the character Grug Crit in the animated film The Croods, which was released in 2013. The Croods received positive reviews from critics and was a box office success, grossing $585 million against a budget of $135 million. Producing and directing, Cage made his directorial debut in 2002 with Sunny, a low-budget drama starring James Franco as a male prostitute whose mother, Brenda Blethyn, serves as his pimp. Cage had a small role in the film, which received poor reviews and a short run in a limited number of theaters. Cage's producing career includes Shadow of the Vampire, the first effort from Saturn Films. In early December 2006, Cage announced at the Bahamas International Film Festival that he planned to curtail his future acting endeavors to pursue other interests. On the Dresden Files for the Sci-Fi Channel, Cage is listed as the executive producer. Other works: Cage, an avid comic book fan, auctioned a collection of 400 vintage comics through Heritage Auctions for over $1.6 million in 2002. In 2007, he created a comic book with his son Weston, called Voodoo Child, which was published by Virgin Comics. Cage is a fan and collector of painter and underground comic artist Robert Williams. He has written introductions for Juxtapose magazine and purchased the painting Death on the Boards. Acting style. Since the beginning of Cage's career, many critics, including Roger Ebert, have described his performance as operatic. In February 2011, Cage said that, at a certain point in his career, he realized that he had developed his own method of acting, which he described as nouveau shamanic. He noted, "At some point I'll have to write a book about it." Cage later explained that he drew the inspiration for the name from the book The Way of the Actor by Brian Bates, in which he read about the parallel between the ancient shamans and thespians. Praise. Cage's acting has been praised by film critic Roger Ebert, who wrote in his Great Movies essay, about the film adaptation, that, "There are often lists of the great living male movie stars, De Niro, Nicholson and Pacino, usually. How often do you see the name of Nicolas Cage? He should always be up there. He's daring and fearless in his choice of roles, and unafraid to crawl out on a limb, saw it off and remain suspended in air. No one else can project inner trembling so effectively. He always seems so earnest. However improbable his character, he never winks at the audience. He is committed to the character with every atom and plays him as if he were him." In response to mixed reviews of Knowing and their focus on criticizing Cage, Ebert defended both Cage as an actor and the film, which, in contrast to other critics, he gave 4 out of 4 stars. Lord of War co-star Ethan Hawke said of Cage, "He's the only actor since Marlon Brando that's actually done anything new with the art of acting. He's successfully taken us away from an obsession with naturalism into a kind of presentation style of acting that I imagine was popular with the old troubadours." While stating that Cage had hurt his career by working on too many poor projects, "He's put a little too much water in his beer." Hawke added, "If I could erase his bottom half bad movies, and only keep his top half movies, he would blow everyone else out of the water." At the 1996 Academy Awards, Cage won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in Leaving Las Vegas. After receiving the award, he went on to star in some high-budget action movies, which received criticism by actors such as Stephen Baldwin, Nick Nolte, and Sean Penn, who said to the New York Times that Cage is no longer an actor and is more like a performer. However, in his Oscar acceptance speech for Mystic River, Penn referred to Cage's performance in the critically acclaimed film Matchstick Men as being among the best performances of the year. In May 2001, Cage was awarded an honorary doctorate in fine arts by California State University, Fullerton. He spoke at the commencement ceremony. Personal life, relationships and family. In 1988, Cage began dating actress Christina Fulton, who later bore their son, Weston Coppola Cage, born December 26, 1990. Weston was the lead singer of the black metal band Eyes of Noctum, which was broke up in 2012. Arch Anubis, his new band of the same genre, was formed in 2011. Weston also appeared in his father's film Lord of War as Vladimir, a young Ukrainian mechanic who quickly disarms a Mi-24 helicopter. Weston and his wife Danielle have a son, Lucian Augustus Coppola Cage, born July 1, 2014. Cage has been married 3 times. His first wife was actress Patricia Arquette, married in April 1995. Divorce finalized in 2001. Cage's second marriage was to singer-songwriter Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley. Cage is an Elvis fan and used the star as the base of his performance in Wild at Heart. Presley and Cage married on August 10, 2002 and filed for divorce on November 25, 2002, which was finalized on May 16, 2004. The divorce proceeding was longer than the marriage. Cage met his third and current wife Alice Kim, a former waitress who previously worked at the Los Angeles restaurant Kabuki and at the Los Angeles-based Korean nightclub, La Privé. She bore their son, Kal-El, after Superman's birth name, on October 3, 2005. Cage was once considered for the role of Superman in a film to be directed by Tim Burton. Alice had a minor role in the 2007 film Next, which Cage produced. They were married at a private ranch in Northern California on July 30, 2004. Political and religious views. Cage grew up in a family of Catholic background, but does not talk about religion publicly and refuses to answer religion-connected questions in his interviews. When asked about the movie Knowing being a religion-themed film or not, Cage replied, "Any of my personal beliefs or opinions runs the risk of impinging on your own relationship with the movie. I feel movies are best left enigmatic, left raising more questions than answers. I don't want to ever preach. So you get from the movie is far more interesting than I could ever offer." During his visit to University of California, Santa Cruz, he stated that he is not a politically active actor and that he can do it in his work as he learned more about nuclear power from the movie The China Syndrome. Cage has donated about $5,000 to the Democratic Party since 1994. Charity activities. Cage has been called one of the most generous stars in Hollywood. He donated $2 million to Amnesty International for them to use to offer rehabilitation shelters, medical services and psychological and reintegration services to some of the 300,000 children forced to fight in conflicts across the world. He has also donated $1 million to the victims of Hurricane Katrina. He became the first artist to support Artworks, an artist engagement program to raise awareness of of fundamental rights at work, including freedom from slavery and from child labor. Cage has also honored with humanitarian award from United Nations for his works and appointed as an UN ambassador for global justice. He led a campaign around the film Lord of War to raise awareness about international arms control, supported Heal the Bay, the United Negro College Fund efforts, and the Royal United Hospital's Forever Friends appeal to build intensive care units for babies. Real estate and tax problems. Nicolas Cage is one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, earning $40 million in 2009 according to Forbes, although he failed to make Forbes' top 10 list in 2014. Cage had a Malibu home where he and Kim lived, but sold the property in 2005 for $10 million. In 2004 he bought a property on Paradise Island, Bahamas. In May 2006, he bought a 40-acre island in the Exuma Archipelago, some 85 miles southeast of Nassau and close to a similar island owned by Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. He bought the medieval castle Schloss Niedstein in the Oberpfalz region in Germany in 2006 and sold it in 2009 for $2.5 million. His grandmother was German, living in Cochem and der Mosel. In August 2007, Cage purchased Grey Craig, a 24,000 square feet brick and stone country manor in Middletown, Rhode Island, with an estate occupying 26 acres. The home has 12 bedrooms and 10 full bathrooms and overlooks the Atlantic Ocean. It borders the Norman Bird Sanctuary to the west. The sale ranked among the state of Rhode Island's most expensive residential purchases. It was eclipsed that same year, 2007, by the $17.15 million sale of the Miramar Mansion on Bellevue Avenue in Newport. Also in 2007, the actor purchased Midford Castle in Somerset, England. Shortly after selling his German castle, Cage also put up his homes in Rhode Island, Louisiana, Nevada, and California, as well as a $7 million island in the Bahamas, for sale. On July 14, 2009, the Internal Revenue Service filed documents in New Orleans in connection with a federal tax lien against property owned by Cage in Louisiana, concerning unpaid federal taxes. The IRS alleges that Cage failed to pay over $6.2 million in federal income tax for the year 2007. In addition, the Internal Revenue Service has another lien for more than $350,000 in unpaid taxes dating from 2002 to 2004. Cage filed a $20 million lawsuit on October 16, 2009, against his business manager, Samuel J. Levin, alleging negligence and fraud. The lawsuit states that Levin had failed to pay taxes when they were due and had placed Cage in speculative and risky real estate investments, resulting in the actor suffering catastrophic losses. Cage is also facing separate lawsuits from East West Bank and Red Curb Investments for unpaid, multi-million-dollar loans. Samuel Levin filed a counter-complaint and responded to the lawsuit in a filing stating that he warned Cage that he was living beyond his means and urged him to spend less. Levin's filing states that instead of listening to Levin, cross-defendant Cage, Coppola, spent most of his free time shopping for high-ticket purchases, and wound up with 15 personal residences. Levin's complaint continued. Likewise, Levin advised Coppola against buying a Gulfstream jet, against buying and owning a flotilla of yachts, against buying and owning a squadron of Rolls-Royces, against buying millions of dollars in jewelry and art. In his filing, Levin says that, in 2007, Cage's shopping spree entailed the purchase of 3 additional residences at a total cost of more than $33 million, the purchase of 22 automobiles, including 9 Rolls-Royces, 12 purchases of expensive jewelry, and 47 purchases of artwork and exotic items. One of those exotic items was a dinosaur skull of a Tarbosaurus for which Nicolas Cage paid $276,000 in an auction after winning a bidding contest against Leonardo DiCaprio. After discovering that the Tarbosaurus skull was stolen, he has since returned it to the Mongolian authorities. According to Cage, he owned the most haunted house in America, a home located in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana, known as the LaLaurie House after its former owner Delphine LaLaurie. The house was foreclosed and sold at auction on November 12, 2009 along with another New Orleans property for a total of $5.5 million. In the wake of Cage's financial problems, his Bel Air home, which had 6 loans totaling $18 million on it, failed to sell at an April 2010 foreclosure auction despite an opening offer of $10.4 million, substantially less than the $35 million that Cage had originally tried to sell it for. The home, built in 1940 for $110,000, had been owned at different times by Dean Martin and singer Tom Jones. The home eventually sold in November 2010 for $10.5 million. Another home in Nevada also faces foreclosure auction. In November 2011, Cage also sold his Action Comics 1 in an online auction for a record-breaking $2.16 million, the previous record being $1.5 million, to assist paying his tax liens and other debts. Cage purchased the comic in 1997 for $110,000 $11,000. Legal issues. In December 2009, Christina Fulton sued Cage for $13 million and for the house in which she was living. The suit was in response to an order that she leave the dwelling. The order resulted from Cage's financial difficulties. On April 15, 2011, at 11:30 p.m., Cage was arrested in New Orleans' French Quarter District for suspicion of domestic abuse battery, disturbing the peace and public intoxication, after a police officer was flagged down by onlookers after Cage allegedly grabbed his wife's upper arm while appearing to be under the influence of alcohol. Cage was held in police custody until a bail of $11,000 was posted by Dwayne "Dog" Chapman. He was later ordered to appear in court on May 31, 2011. On May 5, 2011, it was announced that the charges against Cage had been dropped. Filmography, awards and nominations. Cage has been nominated for an Academy Award twice. He won an Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role for his role in the film Leaving Las Vegas in 1995. He was nominated for a second one for his role in the film adaptation in 2002. He also won a Golden Globe Award, Screen Actors Guild Award and many more awards for Leaving Las Vegas. He has received nominations by the Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild and BAFTA for his film's adaptation, Honeymoon in Vegas and Moonstruck. He has also been nominated and won many different awards.